I accidentally dated my best friend. When I started a new relationship, I was honest and told him everything. Now, he insults me about my colorful past. A 26-year-old woman dipped into my funds and got Mike, my boyfriend, a PS5 for his birthday yesterday. He knew he was getting the PS5 because from the moment the new console was announced, he had been talking about it non-stop. Every conversation seemed to circle back to the PS5, from the games he was excited to play to the new features. It was clear he couldn't wait to try it out. This was more than just a gift. It was a dream come true for him. We've been together for 4 years, and the cost didn't matter much as I had been saving for months. I carefully set aside money from my paycheck because I wanted to see the look of pure joy on his face when he unwrapped it, that is, until I found out what he really thinks of me. Some background: when I was 18, I had a relationship with Jake, whom I met online. Jake was charming and funny, and we clicked right away. Our online chats quickly turned into late-night phone calls, and soon after, we decided to meet in person. Those 3 months with him were fun and full of excitement, but our relationship fizzled out as quickly as it started. We realized that we wanted different things and decided to end things on amicable terms. After that, I moved on with Adam, a guy from work. Adam was different from Jake, more mature and grounded. We started out as friends, bonding over projects and office jokes. One thing led to another, and before I knew it, we were dating. Our relationship was solid and comfortable, and for a while, it seemed perfect. But a few months into our relationship, I discovered that Jake and Adam were really close friends. They had grown up together, shared memories, and were practically inseparable. I hadn't known Jake long enough to meet his group of friends, so the realization hit me hard. I felt guilty, embarrassed, and a little bit betrayed by the universe for putting me in such an awkward situation. After that, I took some time off from dating to reflect and heal. I needed to clear my head and figure out what I wanted in a relationship. It was a confusing time, but it gave me a chance to grow and learn from my past mistakes. 2 years later, I met my current boyfriend, Mike. Meeting Mike felt like a fresh start. He was kind and understanding, and we had an instant connection. I was open and honest with Mike about my past and the fact that I was unintentionally involved with friends. He said he understood, and for the first time in a long time, my past didn't seem to bother him. I felt hopeful about our relationship. When I got into a relationship with Mike, I was open and honest about my past and the fact that I had inadvertently become involved with friends. I remember the conversation vividly. We were sitting in his cozy apartment, the soft glow of evening light filtering through the windows. My heart was pounding because I knew this was a make or break moment for us. I didn't want any secrets between us, and I felt he deserved to know everything. I took a deep breath and told him about Jake and Adam, explaining how I had met Jake online and dated him briefly, only to find out later that Adam was my next boyfriend. I spilled it all out, my voice shaking slightly as I told the story. I stressed that it was never my intention to cause drama or hurt anyone. I just wanted him to understand my past and the lessons I had learned from it. Mike listened intently, his expression calm and thoughtful. When I finished, there was a moment of silence that felt like an eternity. Then he reached out and took my hand, gave it a reassuring squeeze, looked me in the eyes, and said, "I understand your past. It doesn't bother me. We all have things we've been through, and what matters is who we are now and how we treat each other." His words were like balm to my anxious heart. I felt a wave of relief and gratitude wash over me. I believed that Mike was someone who truly accepted me for who I was, flaws and all, and that made me feel safe and loved. It strengthened my resolve to build a future with him, but everything seems like a lie after what happened. Last night at his party, the anticipation had been building for weeks. I carefully planned the surprise, imagining the look on Mike's face when he saw the PS5. I even wrapped it in his favorite color and tied a big, shiny bow. When I showed up with the PS5, Mike and his friends were already in high spirits. The room was buzzing with laughter and chatter. As I walked in, I felt a surge of excitement and nervousness. The moment they saw the PS5, the room erupted. Mike and his friends screamed with joy. Their faces lit up with pure joy. Mike's eyes widened, and he let out a whoop of excitement and rushed over to grab the box from my hands. His friends gathered around, clapping him on the back and cheering. For a brief moment, I felt a sense of accomplishment and joy. I thought I had made his birthday unforgettable. Then his best friend, Jessica, laughed and said, "I wish I had a sugar daddy so I could afford a PS5 to play with." The words hit me like a slap in the face. It felt like the room suddenly fell silent. The laughter and joy of moments before were replaced by a cold, biting tension. I looked at her with a "what did you just say" look. My mind was racing to comprehend what she had just said, and my heart was pounding. A mixture of shock and anger surged through me. I realized that Jessica's comment was not a joke. It was a deliberate, hurtful jab. She stood there with a smug smile on her face, clearly enjoying the discomfort she had caused. The audacity of her words left me speechless for a moment. When I finally found my voice, I managed to ask what she meant. My tone was a mixture of disbelief and growing anger. Instead of apologizing, Jessica just shrugged and said, "Never mind," before turning and walking away as if nothing had happened. Her dismissal was infuriating. It was as if she didn't even see me as a person worthy of respect, as if my feelings didn't matter. I could feel the eyes of the room on me, and the joy that had filled the air just moments ago now felt tainted. I confronted Mike about it. I felt a mixture of hurt and anger bubbling up inside me. I pulled him aside, away from the noise and laughter of his party, and asked him why Jessica would say such a thing. He looked at me, his expression casual, almost dismissive, and said, "She's just messing with you. You can't take a joke." His response made my blood boil. It was as if he was completely unaware of the sting of Jessica's words, or worse, he didn't care. "A joke?" I repeated, my voice shaking with disbelief. "Why is she calling me names to begin with?" I pushed further. I needed to understand why someone who was supposedly his friend was so comfortable insulting me so casually. He sighed as if I was being unreasonable and said, "Well, everyone knows you were a home wrecker before you met me." My heart sank as the realization hit me that this wasn't just Jessica's cruel comment, it was something deeper, something he obviously believed. I also asked him to explain how I could have been a home wrecker in front of him, and he said, "You know, messing with best friends." His words cut deep, and I felt a lump form in my throat. I had been honest with him about my past. I thought it was something we had moved on from together. To hear him casually throw it in my face was like reliving that painful chapter all over again. Then he patted me on the shoulder, a gesture that felt more condescending than comforting. "It's okay, he continued, as if he was doing me a favor. "I can overlook who you were back then. If I could accept your colorful past and your mistakes, you could get over Jessica's comments and give her another chance." His words were a twisted attempt at justification and made me feel small and unworthy. The way he phrased it, as if he had graciously overlooked my perceived shortcomings, was both condescending and hurtful. It became painfully clear that he didn't truly respect or value me, despite the facade of understanding he had presented. I didn't say anything. My mind was racing, but I felt strangely calm. Words failed me. There was nothing left to say that could express the betrayal and hurt I felt. I just stood up, my movements slow and deliberate, as if in a daze. I walked over to the gift table, my eyes fixed on the PS5 that had once symbolized my love and effort. The room fell silent as I reached for the PS5. Everyone's eyes were on me, but I didn't care. My heart was pounding in my chest, a mixture of anger and heartbreak propelling me forward. I picked up the PS5 and felt its weight in my hands. It no longer felt like a gift of joy but a reminder of the disrespect I had just endured. Without looking back, I left the room. The sounds of the party faded behind me, replaced by the sound of my own footsteps and the blood rushing in my ears as I stepped outside. Outside, the cool night air hit my face, bringing with it a sense of finality. I didn't stop until I reached my car. I placed the PS5 on the passenger seat and sat behind the wheel, my hands gripping the steering wheel as I fought back tears. He was angry, I could almost feel it. His anger radiated through the phone as it buzzed incessantly in my pocket. He called me literally 20 times, each call more insistent than the last, but I didn't care. My heart felt heavy with the weight of his betrayal and the harsh words he had spoken. Each time his name flashed on the screen, it was a painful reminder of how little he thought of me. I was so hurt that I couldn't bear to look at the PS5 anymore. The thought of it sitting in my apartment, a symbol of a shattered love, was too much to bear. So I took the ribbon off and went straight back to the store where I bought it. The drive was a blur of angry tears and a knot of determination in my chest. I walked into the store clutching the PS5, as if it were a burden I needed to throw off. The clerk greeted me with a polite smile that faltered slightly when she saw my teary-eyed face. I explained that I needed to return the PS5, and they asked no questions. They could probably sense that this wasn't just a simple return. They happily refunded me, and for a moment, I felt a small sense of relief. This wasn't just about getting my money back, it was about regaining my dignity and taking a stand against the disrespect I had endured. I thought I had done that, but Mike and all of his friends, including Jessica, were relentless. My phone kept lighting up with notifications, each message more hurtful than the last. They berated me for being petty, accusing me of overreacting and ruining Mike's birthday. Every time I looked at my phone, I saw a barrage of texts and missed calls, each one a reminder of their collective contempt. Mike's friends, who I thought were my friends, too, were quick to come to his defense. Jessica was especially vocal, her messages dripping with condescension. "You're so immature," she wrote. "Grow up over a joke." The others chimed in, echoing her sentiments, making me feel like I was the villain in this story. They kept saying I brought this on myself by making bad choices. If you hadn't messed with Jake and Adam, none of this would have happened. Another one said, "You knew what you were getting into with Mike. You should have known better." Their words stung like a dagger, twisting the knife of guilt and shame. Their words stung because they weren't just defending Mike. They were attacking my character, making me feel like my past defined me. As if all the progress I had made, all the growth and self-reflection, meant nothing. They made it clear that in their eyes, I was still the girl who made mistakes, unworthy of respect or understanding. I replied to Mike, my fingers trembling as I typed the message. The hurt and anger swirled inside me, but I was determined to stand my ground. I told him he deserved better than me, my words laced with sarcasm and bitterness. There was no way I was going to get the PS5 from them because I had already returned it, I wrote. I hit send before I could question myself. There was a moment of silence, a pause in the barrage of notifications, as if he was taken aback by my response. I imagined him reading my message, his face contorted with frustration and disbelief. I knew my words would sting, but I wanted him to understand just how deeply hurt I was. His response came quickly, a flurry of angry text messages. He accused me of being petty and vindictive. "You're the biggest off for that," he wrote back, his anger palpable even through the screen. "You should be lucky I ignored your colorful past." Each message was like a slap in the face, a reminder of how little he cared about my feelings and how he twisted the story to make me the villain. But I didn't care. I felt a strange sense of liberation in standing up for myself, in reclaiming a small piece of my dignity. Returning the PS5 wasn't just an act of defiance, it was a declaration that I would not be defined by his or anyone else's judgment. It was my way of saying that I deserved better, even if he didn't believe it. Mike's friends didn't let up. For weeks, they continued to berate me. Their messages flooded my phone day and night. Jessica, in particular, seemed to take a perverse pleasure in hounding me. "You think you're so much better than us," she would taunt. "You're just a coward who couldn't handle a little joke." The constant barrage of negativity was exhausting, but I refused to let it break me. Mike wasn't any better. He continued to call and text, alternating between anger and pleading. "I'm sorry." "Okay, just come back and we'll talk," he would say in one breath, only to follow it up with, "You're acting like a child. Grow up and stop being so dramatic." His attempts to manipulate my emotions only strengthened my resolve. I finally knew that I had to end things with Mike once and for all. I called him, my voice steady despite the storm of emotions raging inside me. "Mike, this isn't going to work," I said firmly. "I'm done with you and your friends. If you continue to harass me, I will call the police. This has got to stop." There was a long pause on the other end of the line. When he finally spoke, his voice was cold and bitter. "Whatever you want," he snapped. The days that followed were a whirlwind of emotions, but slowly I began to feel a sense of relief. The constant anxiety I had felt for weeks began to dissipate, replaced by a growing sense of peace. I realized that by standing up for myself, I had taken the first step in reclaiming my self-worth. I surrounded myself with friends who really cared about me, people who valued and respected me for who I was. I focused on my work, my hobbies, and the things that brought me joy. The money I got back from the PS5 refund became a windfall. I treated myself to a spa day and bought a new book that I had been eyeing for months. I came to see the breakup as a blessing in disguise. I had dodged a bullet, and I was grateful for the chance to start over. The experience had taught me the importance of self-respect and the value of being with someone who truly accepts me. I knew now that I deserved better and was determined to never settle for anything less. I've learned a lot from this whole ordeal, and I want to share those lessons with you. First and foremost, I've learned the importance of self-worth and boundaries. It's crucial to know your own worth and not let anyone diminish it. Enforcing boundaries is essential to maintain your self-esteem and emotional well-being. I realized that I deserve to be treated with respect, and it's okay to demand it. Honesty and transparency are essential in any relationship, but they must be met with mutual respect and understanding. When someone uses your honesty against you, that's a big red flag. Trust and respect are the foundation of a healthy relationship. If a partner or their friends make you feel belittled or disrespected, it's a sign that the relationship may not be as healthy or supportive as it should be. Another important lesson is that it's important to assert your boundaries and take action when you're being mistreated. Whether it's through direct confrontation or seeking outside help, standing up for yourself is necessary for your own mental and emotional health. It may be hard, but it's totally worth it. I also learned the value of having a strong support system. Surrounding yourself with friends and loved ones who truly care about you provides strength and support during tough times. They can help remind you of your value and what you truly deserve. Going through this experience has taught me that growth often comes from adversity. Adversity and difficult experiences can teach you a lot about what you really want and deserve in life and relationships. They can help you make better choices in the future and become a stronger person. Finally, it's important to listen for red flags in a relationship. Disrespect, manipulation, and belittling are signs that should not be ignored. Taking them seriously is crucial for your well-being. I hope my story helps you understand the importance of these lessons. Remember, you deserve to be treated with respect and love. Don't settle for anything less. Healthy comments on this story. Comment 1, I'm so confused, but maybe it's because I'm an old lady who got married around the time you were in kindergarten. Hey, if anyone had anything to do with the Adam incident, it was Adam. He knew Jake was his friend, but he dated his best friend's ex. That's on him, and it's Adam's mistake. Also, where I come from, dating 3 guys in 7 years doesn't exactly make for a colorful past. The definition of a colorful past has been redefined since the early 2000s. I hope you do something special for yourself with some of that money you got back from returning that gift you got from your ex-boyfriend. To the 55-year-old lady here, what happened in your colorful past wouldn't even be a blip on anyone's radar when I was your age. Your BF screwed up and accidentally showed you exactly what he really thinks of you. You dodged a bullet, and please note that he's upset because his screw-up cost him a PS5. He doesn't care about you or your feelings. Take the refund and go treat yourself. Comment 3, I am so happy there is no photographic evidence of some of the stuff we got into when I was in my teens and 20s back in the 70s and early 80s. Oh, the color and the parties. These young kids have no idea of what grandma used to get up to back then. Comment 4, I like how you stood up for yourself and didn't take any crap. You went in to find out what was going on and got an answer. The way he started yelling and giving you what you should be grateful for just confirms that you dodged a massive bullet. It also makes me a little worried about what else he might have said to you, not just in this story. This isn't someone who loves you, this is someone who is using you for his own gain. Secondly, it's a red flag that he told his friends what you told him and they felt comfortable using it as an insult. This shows me 2 people who don't respect you as a person. Think about this relationship. Politely, these people have a lot of growing to do, and I think you should allow them to do so on their own. What do you think about this story? Please leave your comment below to let me know.